Now at 5:30 on Newswatch.
Bond is now set for a local police chief who has a drug charge. The Athens City School District continues discussions about the financial future of the district.
And could Ohio men's basketball begin its second swing through the MAC East on the right foot?
Broadcasting live from WOUB TV in Athens. This is Newswatch.
A local chief of police appeared before Athens Municipal Court this morning via video. Good evening, everyone. I'm Katie Doup. Booksville Chief of Police Kelsey Lanning had been arrested for purchasing prescription pills from an individual working with a narcotics enforcement team. Lanning is being held at the Southeastern Ohio Regional Jail on a $50,000 bond for participating in a drug transaction. Assistant Prosecutor Robert Driscoll requested the bond this morning during the hearing.
Given the fact that he is a law enforcement officer, he should be held to a higher standard, and the state does believe that he would pose a risk to the community if he were permitted to be out on lesser bond.
The court's going to set a bond at $50,000, but allow 10% to be posted.
Lanning allegedly purchased the pills in his house in Nelsonville. A preliminary hearing is scheduled for February 24th. Athens County Auditor Jill Thompson remains locked in a financial disagreement with County Prosecutor Keller Blackburn and Sheriff Pat Kelly. It's an awkward situation, to say the least, because there are legal issues to resolve, and Blackburn is Thompson's legal representative. Thompson, who's a Republican, requested her own attorney, but the county commissioners so far have refused to hire one. Two of the three commissioners are Democrats, and so are Blackburn and Kelly. Outside counsel has been hired to sort out the dispute, which involves who has control over certain grant accounts. Thompson claims she does, while Blackburn and Kelly contend they should have another authority over the money. Three Guernsey County entities are getting grant money from the Ohio Department of Natural Resources for reducing litter through cleanup and education efforts. The City of Cambridge and the Muskingum Soil and Water Conservancy District each get $2,000. Richland Township will get $1,600 for a cleanup of Seneca Lake and State Route 313. Mold and humidity problems are causing the Fairfield County Department of Health to move to a new location. The department will move this fall to the Colonnade Medical Building on Sheridan Drive in Lancaster. The Athens City School District held a special meeting last night to discuss the financial future of the district. It's facing an estimated $12 million shortfall by 2016 due to state funding reductions and a steady decline in enrollment. The board is considering a number of options to reduce its budget, from shutting down Chansey Elementary School to implementing suggestions by a community group that wants to save Chansey. Superintendent Carl Martin says it's essential for the board to make these difficult decisions as soon as possible.
Basically come to the conclusion that we all understand how we got here. We all understand where we're at. The numbers haven't really changed much since I started looking at them, and we really need to take action.
Martin says if the board is unable to get things under control, the district will go into fiscal watch. The decision on the recommendation to close Chansey Elementary School is expected at the board's next meeting on February 23rd. And Ohio public colleges and universities have presented the state with a $350 million proposal for construction projects. A special commission announced its priorities for all 37 schools, including four-year colleges and two-year community colleges. The requests include $15 million for projects that enhance business partnerships, $30 million for workforce development, and $97 million for projects linking engineering and science.
From the Newswatch Weather Center, I'm Trevor Cole, and actually, the drizzle's starting to clear out of the area, and we are actually at 50 degrees right now, which is our high for the day, and that's about 6 degrees above average. And then when we take a look at what's going on across the region, you can see we're up in the upper 40s with the cool spots to the northeast of town. 46 is a pretty common number across the northeastern viewing area, Steubenville, St. Clairsville, and New Martinsville. And let's take a look at the precipitation tracker for tonight. And you can see that big blue H is a good thing. We're going to get a nice clearing air mass going in here. It won't last long, though, because we've actually got some big news to talk about for the weekend, so we'll need to stay tuned for that.
Even though it was rainy today, I can't complain because I really like the warm weather. I missed it.
It wasn't bad, yeah.
So, all right. Well, thanks, Trevor.
Yep.
West Virginia lawmakers are considering a series of policy reforms that could address parole, probation, and drug treatment options to ease the state's overcrowded prisons. State officials hope to avoid building a new prison to hold the additional 1,600 inmates currently being held in regional jails. The state's prison problem is rooted in the state's drug abuse problem. A West Virginia lawmaker has introduced a bill that would give gay and lesbian couples the same legal protections as heterosexual married couples. Delegate John Doyle says gay and lesbian couples should have the same safety net to deal with the death of a parent or the loss of a job as married couples. This is the first time a civil union bill has been introduced in the West Virginia legislature. The speed limit for cars and trucks on Ohio's interstate highways would increase to 70 miles per hour under a bill passed by a House committee. The bill initially would have made it illegal to stay in the left lane of a highway if a driver was not passing or exiting, but that provision was removed before the bill was approved. The measure is expected to pass when it's presented to the full House. And the full Ohio House has passed a bill providing a stiffer penalty for acts of animal cruelty by people affiliated with kennels. Lawmakers who sponsored the bill say it will allow prosecutors to file a misdemeanor or fifth-degree felony charge against a kennel owner, custodian, or caretaker if an animal is abused. The bill now goes to the Senate, which did not pass similar legislation that was passed by the House. Mitt Romney will be in Cleveland tonight to speak at a GOP fundraiser. The stop comes as Romney finds himself trailing Rick Santorum in a new Ohio presidential poll. The poll shows Santorum leading Romney 36 to 29% among Ohio voters just 3 weeks before the Republican primary. Newt Gingrich is third with 20%. And the idea of having zero waste in Athens County may seem like a far-off dream, but the Appalachia, Ohio Zero Waste Initiative will try to make it happen. When we come back, we'll be joined by the initiative's coordinator to talk about some of their upcoming projects. And it looks like everyone is on the same page now, and the payroll tax cut will be extended next on Newswatch. It's a deal. President Barack Obama says he will sign an extension of the payroll tax cuts as soon as Congress sends it to his desk. Congressional negotiators have resolved all their differences on the measure that will renew a payroll tax cut for 160 million workers and jobless benefits for millions more. The legislation will continue a 2 percentage point cut in the Social Security payroll tax, renew jobless benefits averaging about $300 a week for long-term unemployed people, and protect doctors from a huge cut in their Medicare reimbursements.
We have reached an agreement. We're at Ledge Council drafting, and with all drafting, there are obviously technical issues that come up, but we're confident that this can be concluded, and so we're here together to announce that we do have an agreement and we're moving forward.
The deal also cuts the maximum length of unemployment benefits from 99 to 73 weeks. President Obama is asking Congress to give him more power to consolidate governmental functions. The proposed legislation would give presidents more freedom to combine agencies if the merger would save money or reduce the size of government. Obama wants to combine 6 major economic agencies into one. Obama wants that kind of authority that President Ronald Reagan held. Iran has announced a development that the world will be watching closely. It has successfully created its first nuclear fuel rods. Greg Black has more on how other countries feel about Iran's advancement in nuclear science.
Iran's state-run TV showed President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad help load what was described as Iranian-made fuel rods into the core of a reactor. And Ahmadinejad said Iran intends to produce yellow cake. That's a chemically treated form of uranium ore that's used to make enriched uranium. He also accused the West of trying to keep nuclear technology to itself.
Any nation who dared approach to try to get access to this know-how, they started immediately to put pressures, to impose sanctions, to make threats.
An expert with a group dedicated to a nuclear weapon-free world says the step is significant.
It's definitely a technical achievement to be able to make fuel rods for this reactor. It's not easy to do. Many people didn't think Iran can do it, so they definitely have something to crow about.
But the U.S. State Department says it's not big news, calling it mostly hype.
The Iranians have for many months been putting out calendars of accomplishments, and based on their own calendars, they are many, many months behind.
Ahmadinejad says the reactor is for research and produces medicine. All along, he's claimed Iran's program is for civilian use, while Western nations claim Iran's endgame is to build nuclear weapons. I'm Greg Black reporting.
Meanwhile, with tensions high, law enforcement officials are concerned Iran could mount attacks against Jewish targets in the U.S. But according to a recent report, there are no specific information that plots are in the works. And an official with the Jewish American group says there is no call for panic. The Appalachia, Ohio Zero Waste Initiative is trying to work with communities, businesses, and governments to build local wealth and environmental health by increasing waste diversion and supporting the development of a zero waste economy. Joining us now is the initiative coordinator, Kyle O'Keefe. Thanks for being here with us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Now, what are the activities of the Zero Waste Initiative?
It's a great question. Over the next year, there'll be a number of activities the Zero Waste Initiative will be taking on. These include a large community engagement effort. We will be sending out over 3,000 surveys to random households in Athens and Hocking County near the end of February, beginning of March, so people can be looking in their mailbox then. We'll also be doing a number of business surveys, online surveys as well later in the year, and we'll be holding community forums in the springtime throughout Athens and Hocking County, and also be engaging key stakeholders as well. Some other things that we'll be doing, we'll be performing feasibility studies and case studies on facilities that might be needed here locally and best programs for hazardous waste, other hard to recycle items. We'll be giving business assistance to businesses who want to help divert materials, create new products, create jobs here locally. And we also have an AmeriCorps program that actually just received that $2,000 grant as well to perform cleanups in the Sunday and Monday Creek watershed. They'll also be helping to do other dump site cleanups and helping to get recycling in schools. And at the very end, in the fall, we'll be holding a regional summit that will invite stakeholders from Kentucky, West Virginia, and Ohio to really look at wealth creation through management of these resources.
You've got a lot going on. Now, you're mailing out a survey next week. Who are you mailing it to and why?
That's a good question. These are actually random surveys, so they'll be going out to households in rural parts and urban parts of both Athens and Hocking County. And this is a first step towards gathering baseline information about some of the needs, opportunities, challenges that currently members are having to recycle or reduce their waste.
And once you get this information back, what's the next step? What's the goal?
And so all this information will go towards, these community meetings, but the end result of all these activities is basically to create a comprehensive plan that can be supported by communities, has feasibilities backed by it, and can create long-term strategies for healthier communities and a stronger economy.
Could you go into what type of information you're gathering?
Yeah, absolutely. So they're asking questions about recycling practices, what's convenient, do they have access to recycling, what would they like to see, and there'll be opportunities as well in the future for members to contact us through our website. We'll also be putting a survey up there for people who don't receive a survey in the mail. So that's another way they can give feedback.
Okay, and what is the timetable for your action plan project?
Well, right now, all of this activities will kind of finalize next year, around next December, around that time frame. So a number of things, but really this is an opportunity for community members to come and be a part of a process to create long-term solutions to a system that's currently one of the furthest behind in the state of Ohio.
Okay, and just briefly, there's been a lot, in the news about the Athens-Hocking Solid Waste District. What are your thoughts on this situation?
No matter what direction the Athens-Hocking Solid Waste District plan officially takes, the goal needs to be, again, creating long-term solutions to these problems. This has been a reoccurring issue in the past, and I think the community really needs to be involved with this process to make it effective.
All right, well, Kyle O'Keefe, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
And on Wall Street today, stocks rose and the euro rebounded from earlier losses as investors shrugged off the lack of resolution and political tensions building over the Greek bailout. Here's a look at some stocks of local interest.
Well, the shower action's moving out. We've got a quiet Friday on tap, but you'll want to stick around for sure after this because we've got some talk about a weekend winter storm taking aim at the region. Stay tuned. From the Newswatch Weather Center, I'm Trevor Cole. Let's take a look at what's going on right now across the area. We're at 50 degrees right now with calm winds, and that's actually check out the region. And as you can see, it's not too bad out there today. We're right around average, if just not a couple degrees above. Checking in at 48 in Chillicothe, 48 in Lancaster, and 52 down in Huntington. Taking a look at the almanac for today, you can see 50 is all we did. It was actually pretty comfortable out there. 44 is the average, so we know we're a bit above that. And the record's 74 and -6, so we've definitely been a lot more on the extreme side in past decades. Taking a look at the precip tracker for tonight, and you can see here's that little pesky low right there that's been giving us the trouble today. That's just sliding on its way on out there, and this area of high pressure is going to slide in and take over for our weather for tomorrow, though it will not last very long. I'll get to that in just a second. Then the precip tracker for tomorrow, you can see here's that low. It continues to just slide out to sea. We call those fish storms. They're just hanging out there with the fish. And then we've got the area of high pressure right here. And it's actually just going to set up shop right across the area for the day tomorrow. And then what we watch is this developing area of low pressure right here. And the developing area of low pressure, actually, it's back down to the south there. You can't really see it. What we're looking for is for those two to really just come together and stir up a storm. And that's what the models have been showing, though that has not been the trend this year. Actually, what the trend has been for the jet up north, stay up north, the jet down south to stay down south, and they just don't interact. But that looks to be changing. But I mean, I'm going to keep that seasonal trend in mind when making the forecast for this next few days. This is actually one of the forecast models that we use. And as you can see right here, this particular model, there's a lot of different solutions. This one actually keeps the stripe of snow just to the south of the Athens area. But our southern and southeastern and southwestern viewing area does get in on some accumulations. About 3 to 4 on this run. But look at Athens right there. We are right on the line. So that's too close for comfort for me, so I'm definitely keeping an eye on things. And in fact, I've whipped together a couple graphics here for you. Scenario 1, this is what the map I just showed you. This kind of agrees with what the consensus and the models have been today. Keeping it south. Scenario 2, though, watch this one. Could bring the snow up through here. Right now leaning towards scenario 1, but we really have to watch this to make sure that we nail this storm properly, because these like to be, create some surprises. Taking a look at tonight, slow clearing drizzle early. Tomorrow, 45, sunny with seasonable temps. And then for the 5-day forecast, or 7-day rather, you can see there's that late chance of precipitation on Saturday. And then hate to use question marks, but we put a few question marks in there for Sunday. Just really uncertain right now what's going to happen with that. And then we clear out for the beginning of next week, and then more unsettled weather for the middle of next week.
This has been the craziest winter I can remember ever.
It has been a pain to forecast, I'll tell you that much.
Definitely. I wouldn't mind seeing that snow, though. That scenario 2 might make me happy.
I'm rooting for scenario 2.
Are you?
Absolutely,
right.
yeah.
Are you scared? Is that why?
Yeah, but not very good, though.
Okay. Well, hey, that's all right.
I try to.
You try. All right. And, with all this, it's been warm weather, but we still got all these indoor sports. We had a basketball game last night, and we've got one coming up this weekend. There's a lot of that going on.
You mentioned how it's not really feeling like winter, and it's almost over. It almost seemed like it never even started, but it's actually postseason time getting up here for a lot of sports. Men's basketball is starting to make their playoff push. Ohio's tournament trip to Cleveland is quickly approaching. Could Ohio take another step towards its first-round bye? And another Bobcat team is gearing up for league championships this weekend right here in Athens. That's all next on Newswatch. Dunk time in crunch time. Ohio men's basketball is trying to slug their way back into the race for a bye in the MAC tournament. Round 1 of their playoff push last night provided a few highlight moments, the biggest of which being the end of their 2-game skid. With their backs against the wall, the Bobcats exacted revenge against Bowling Green, beating the Falcons 72-59. John Smith led the highlight charge with 4 rim rockers en route to a 9-point, 9-board performance. 7 of those rebounds came on the offensive glass. The Cats used more aggressive post play to bury the Falcons on the boards, pulling down 16 more than BG. DJ Cooper fronted the scoring attack with a season-high 22. Bobcats improved to 20-6, 8-4 in the MAC, making them the first conference team with 20 wins this season and the fastest in Ohio program's history to hit that mark. Well, Ohio and Bowling Green were tied in fourth in the MAC East standings until last night, but the Bobcats took sole possession with the win. Miami went toe-to-toe with top contender Akron for the first half of their game last night, but the Zips pulled out the 74-59 win. The Redhawks are still at the bottom of the conference standings with a 4-8 record, while 11-1 Akron is sitting pretty in first. Kent State beat Buffalo on Tuesday night 76-71, giving the Golden Flashes the tiebreaker and second place. The Mid-American Conference announced today that it will air the upcoming Ohio men's basketball game against Kent State on Sports Ohio, making it the second time those two are on the channel. Ohio may be the first MAC team to 20 wins, but Kent is close up behind at 19 and has 4 remaining league games to rise to the challenge. This would be its 13th time in 14 years that the program has reached that mark. Last time the two faced off, the Bobcats came out on top in the convo 87-65. This time Ohio will play the role of road warrior in Kent on February 29th. Well, while one group of Cats is fighting for playoff position, another is on the eve of postseason action. Think of the Bobcats hosting the MAC tournament at the Combo, and you've got the club hockey equivalent this weekend at Byrd Arena. Defending champion Ohio is hosting this year's Central States Collegiate Hockey League tournament. The Bobcats grabbed the number 2 seed behind regular season champ Lindenwood. Ohio will battle Kent State for the 3rd consecutive time at 7:30 p.m. tomorrow. The Cats swept the 4 meetings this season, outscoring the Golden Flashes 27-4. The Bobcats finished the regular season 23-3-11, 6th in the nation overall. The tournament will kick off at 1 p.m. tomorrow with a showdown between Illinois and Iowa State. Robert Morris and Indiana will play the sandwich game at 4. Ohio will get the winner of that game should they knock off Kent State for a 5th time. And it's hard to believe it, but as we said, spring is right around the corner, and this means baseball is back in action. The MAC East released its preseason poll for baseball yesterday, picking Ohio to finish the 2012 season in 4th place. The standings are decided by the votes of the league's coaches, who picked the defending MAC regular season champion and tournament champion Kent State to finish first. Miami and Bowling Green also sit above Ohio, while Akron and Buffalo are projected to finish 5th and 6th, respectively. The Bobcats finished last year's season 27-7 overall, going 11-16 in the MAC. Ohio opens up its season tomorrow at UNC Wilmington for the start of a 3-game series. And in high school hoops action, Waterford, Belpre, and Oak Hill all advance in the tournament for girls basketball after pulling out wins last night. The Wildcats of Waterford defeated Miller 62-24, who finished their season with a record of 6-16. The Lady Eagles of Belpre beat Eastern Pike 70-60, while Oak Hill knocked out the 3-win Meigs Marauders 83-37. Waterford leads Division IV with its 18-3 record and continues its quest in the tournament when they take on Belpre in the district semifinal on Saturday. And another full slate of playoff action is waiting in the wings tonight with 4 Athens County squads in action. Athens took the regular season TVC Ohio crown, but has a tall task in the form of 18-2 Fairfield Union. The Lady Bulldogs try to extend their season tonight at Alexander High School. The Lady Buckeyes in Nelsonville, York ended up 3rd in the division with a 13-7 overall mark. They will battle 5-win Ironton. And it was tougher sledding for Alexander as the ladies finished in the basement after mustering only 2 wins. Their first challenge is 16-4 Valley. Both games will take place at Jackson High School. And over in the hockey, the Lady Lancers bounced back from a winless campaign last year and finished this season with 4 victories. They'll face division foe Eastern, which completed a 14-5 season with a 2nd place finish in the division. That game will take place at Meigs. And you can bet Hardwood Heroes will be on the scene for every minute of postseason action. The crew brings you the finest of all Athens County teams as deep as they go. Check out WOUB.org/heroes for recaps immediately following the contest. And be sure to check out the full show Sundays at 6:30 on WOUB2. So as I said, everything is playoffs right now. Basketball is still trying to get there, get that bye, but there's so much postseason action going on right now in Athens County.
Oh, absolutely. You know, and looking at that Nelsonville York team, they're such a young team. I know they have an uphill battle, but in the regular season they did pretty well. It's unbelievable. It's awesome to see young teams go that far.
Yeah, especially, you know, as we said, Alex had a little bit tougher sledding of the 3, but especially whenever Athens and NY would face each other, that crosstown rivalry always provides fireworks. It seems to happen in really every varsity sport. We saw it in football, even in volleyball now. They're both making the postseason in girls hoops, and I expect them to both go far.
Exactly. It's gonna be a fun tournament. Well, thanks, Justin. And stay tuned tonight on WOUB. Here's a look at what's coming up next on your public television station. For any Walmart shoppers out there, you're probably used to hearing the phrase, clean up on aisle 3, right? But what about wedding in aisle 3? That's right, a couple in North Carolina decided to take their love for each other and the superstore giant to a whole new level. They got married in Walmart. The two lovebirds say they met at the store and had always wanted to celebrate their big day in a special way. So it looks like they decided to take their walk down the aisle very literally. Well, Trevor Cole, are you going to have a Walmart wedding anytime soon?
Well, they stole my idea, so I don't know how I can anymore, right?
All right.
For right now, we're looking at 30 degrees across the area. Actually, 50 right now. 30, there we go. 30 for tonight. Slow clearing, and then for tomorrow, 45 degrees, our last warm day, and then the extended forecast. Tomorrow, we have a good day. Saturday, chance of rain late, and then Sunday's the big question mark. We'll have to keep an eye on it. Tune in. Brianna will have more on the potential winter storm tomorrow evening.
All right, thanks, Trevor. And that does it for our broadcast on the 16th of February, 2012. Thanks for watching. For Trevor Cole and Justin Sampson, I'm Katie Doup. You can get the latest news and weather on the WOUB radio network, and you can view our program anytime online at WOUB.org. Have a great night.